Hello everybody, Big Planes here, and today this is going to be a little bit different of a video. I have not made a ton of progress on this plane, but I did want to discuss some things about it that I wanted to know your opinion on and that I wanted to ask you for. So we're going to go right into the video here. So last night I did sort of complete the nose and I hooked it all up together. I connected all the segments sort of temporarily, but I connected them and I was horrified at how it looked. I'm going to put some pictures on the screen for you here. The really hard part was the plane looked really nice. Okay, the fuselage, the way it blended into the wings, all that looked really good. And then you saw the nose and you wanted to cry. So I immediately took that off and totaled it. I did not want anything to do with that nose. I did not want my name anywhere near it. But I am willing to share my failures with you. So back to where we're at right now, and I am experimenting with some new techniques. Now, I should have listened to the people commenting in my video on my last video because, yeah, they were right. I went ahead and used the stepping technique, which is something that I have done before on the 747 and on the 737. It worked marginally better on each one, but I tried it on this one, and it failed epically. And I think I figured out why. The reason is that I'm going to come over here real quick. This wing in the body is incredibly smooth. Okay, there's like no studs, no deviations, nothing. And so what that means is that even having just a little bit of roughness or a little bit of studs showing is going to look absolutely terrible compared to the rest of the plane. And especially the nose, because you know, it's the first thing people see. It's like the face of the plane. It's what people judge the plane by. So yeah, I had to scrap that idea. Each time I make the plane smoother and smoother, it becomes much, much more difficult to get an accurate looking nose. But I have some ideas here. Now, I don't remember who commented this on my last video. I will try to put the comment up on the screen here so you can see, give that person a bit of a shout out. But they suggested that I take this and angle it on a hinge right here instead of stepping it down. And I like that idea. Now, the problem with angling things like that, and I started learning that with the 747 over here, is that at some point, there's going to be a gap. I don't know if it's going to be here, if it's going to be here, if it's going to be there, if it's going to be, it's going to be somewhere, which is why I don't usually do that technique, because usually when stepping it, everything can be done in sort of increments, so there won't be any gaps. But I figured out on a plane this smooth, stepping it, like I said, it just won't work because of how smooth the wing is and how smooth the fuselage is. So here's my idea to add on to what that person suggested. What I'm thinking, I'll try to bend down lower here, is I'm going to try to use some of these wedge plates here. Now, again, I have this set right here. It's obviously not going to be in gray, it'll be in red. But my idea is that this wedge plate here might just close that gap, because we have to have my blueprint print out right here. At some point, we have to come down like this, right? Now, one thing that is on our side is that, I don't know what's going on with that ruler here. This is pretty much straight at this point when leading down. But right about above the windscreen, it needs to taper. So, my idea is that we'll have one here, and then we'll have another one here that sort of parallels to this. So again, this is just a rough idea of what I'm thinking right now. Those wedge plates, or those wedge bricks that I'm using right here, just my luck, getting them in red is very difficult, but I have found a store that has them, so I'm just testing to see if this technique will even work. But I do think that if I can get it to work, it will be very, very useful, because I did use it over here on the 737, down here towards the bottom. I know it might be a little hard to see with the sun behind it, but they do work when you can use them correctly. So I think this might give us the ability to make this nose look incredibly smooth. Now, I'm taking a bit of a gamble here, but the next thing I'm going to try to do is use these curved slopes. I'm going to have to obviously fill this gap, but we'll angle these curved slopes so they'll angle inwards. Now, I'm not sure how I'm going to do this when it becomes angled here or whatever, but I'll figure something out, and then they'll come here. And then this area, I'm not sure how I'm going to do this area right here, because that's a little rough. That's going to be where it's hard to taper it. I might end up using like these or something, I don't know. But if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments below, because that's very useful when I get tips like that, because I had considered this, but when people start leaving ideas on how I can improve upon it, that's incredibly useful, because all the the collective knowledge of all the subscribers is far greater than anything I could think of. So I know this has not been a super massive update, but something you're going to have to understand about the nose here is that this is the part that takes forever. Okay, I can build the fuselage incredibly quickly. It's done using just a technique that just goes all the way back. The tail runs off a relatively simple method. I'll just hinge some parts and taper it. But the nose, it's always the nose. If you remember it from the 737 project back here, you'll know that the nose takes forever to get right, and it's always a work in progress. I'm still working on the nose for the 747. So yeah, I have some ideas here, but if you have any more ideas, please be sure to leave them in the comments below. So that's all I'm going to leave you with for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and that's all I really have for this one. Bye for now.